Alright. So I caught up with a bunch of the comments that are on the YouTube videos. I don't know if y'all are expecting me to comment back. I don't know. Probably should. But figured we could do a quick video on how you do the whole L series KA mix up a bunch of parts there. So what is it? Starts out with I guess this is a 2000 Frontier KA. It's a twin cam, but all of what I'm going to mention here will work with like a single cam out of a truck from like what 90, 91 up to 97 as well. That's what was in here before. So mosquitoes are getting bad. Let's see. I started with an adapter plate for the Weber Carb. It's all homemade. I'm going to make a newer one, but what is it? Piece of 1/4 inch aluminum. I chamfered out the top, or no, the bottom side of it, and then I originally intended for this thing to have a 32-36 on it, so the primary barrel was kind of set above the four ports, so that's why it sets offside on there, or offset on there. I didn't expect to get a 38. Let's see. The injector holes on this intake are TIG welded up. On my single cam intake, it had bullet casings, 40 caliber bullet casings that we trimmed. We flared the bottoms out of them, and then pushed them in through the back side, like the port side, and then used like some good model CA glue, and that left them in place really well. I still have that intake actually. Let's see. The distributor is, I guess, what you would call factory for like a 78 through 80, like L series. It's a matchbox. It's a Datsun distributor. It's just hooked up to, I guess, a regular Nissan. The hell did I get that? It's a Stanza coil, but it's probably the same thing as a 240SX coil or anything that's 80s or late 80s, 90s Nissan. What is it? The pedestal for the distributor is the L series one. You tap and drill 2 new holes, because you can see the the regular distributor has the big wide mounting points, but the outside diameter of the pedestal fits directly inside the inside diameter of the timing cover, and it lines up just right. You just tap and drill 2 new holes and done deal. Bolted on. The only other thing that's kind of a key part to this is like inside the deal, you got to drop the oil pump, and you got to get rid of the KA, I guess, like the DIS or the crank angle sensor version of the oil pump drive. It's got the, I don't know what you call it, like a splined end instead of just a regular offset tang, the flat tang like an L series does. But what is it? I guess any L series oil pump drive will work, because from the crank up to the distributor, the same height. What is it? L20s have the taller deck height, but the oil pump drive is still the same. So L16, L18, L20, I think even like straight 6L series ones like L24, 26, and 28 would probably work. I can't really vouch for that though. I've always used L series 4-cylinder parts. So, but yeah, drop the oil pump, toss the new distributor drive into the deal there, bolt up the distributor, and bam, you're ready to go ignition wise. If it's a truck motor, I guess that's the thing I have to kind of point out too, is it has to be a truck architecture of the engine, you know, hard body or Frontier engine. I guess, you know, most of you'll know that the, you know, KAs in the cars have the, you know, distributor right out the side of the head, ran off the exhaust cam. So it's not to say you can't do a car motor, it's just it's not going to be as simple as this. You gotta homemade, you know, you gotta have somebody make, or, you know, have machining skills to graft a matchbox or some sort of, you know, points distributor or something like that to the base plate of a I guess a stock KA distributor or something like that. But let me think. Other than that, I mean, converting a truck engine over to carburetor isn't very much, you know, there's not a lot to it. The distributor, you know, obviously doing some sort of an intake that you can put a carburetor on. You know, it doesn't have to be a Weber, it doesn't have to be a 3838. My next plan is to put a 2300 series Holley on it. So I've got access to a TIG welder at work now, so I'm thinking about building an adapter plate. It's going to be similar to this guy, but kind of a pedestal style one. Get a little bit more plenum area, because right now this one, it's like it works, but it's not super optimal. You know, the way that this one's put together is that that 1/4 inch aluminum plate, and then I've got a Weber adapter stacked on top of that to add height. I built this thing with like no money, and so when it came down to it, the throttle linkage, it hit the what do you call it? It hit the adapter plate, and I needed something to space it up and even more, and so I ended up just using a Weber adapter. So inside there, if you imagine it, it actually, you know, goes, and then one side necks down even more to like the 3236 or like the stock Datsun size, or the, you know, like for a an L series intake. So it's technically, mine's I'm running it almost like in a restricted mode or something like that. I bet if I built a different adapter even just for this 38, it would probably run, it would probably scream. I think, you know, that's probably my issue I'm running into, where this thing just hits a wall at like 5,000 RPM. Let me think. I guess another question I get is like about the cams. You know, these are just 2 exhaust cams out of is it 93 to 95 Nissan Altima, you know, the front wheel drive car. Granted, those ones, you know, they have the distributor that runs off the back of the head, since it's in a front wheel drive configuration, so they'll have like a cam that sticks out the head through the cam cover and everything like that. It's not to say you can't use them. I've got a pair of them in there right now. You literally just cut the tangs off and slam them in there, as long as you don't mess up the what is it, the rear cam journal. If it's an S13 engine, since they still use the last, you know, 2 caps on the back of the, you know, imagine the valve covers off the 2 caps on the cams. The S14 and, like, you know, Frontier head, or at least the Frontier head, is basically shares the same casting as an S14. So the last 2 cam caps are just deleted in that version, and the cams, they float, they just free hang or free float in the section there. So, but yeah, bottom line, you just nip those tangs off, sand them nice, and do whatever you want, honestly, just as long as they clear the valve cover when you're done. What was it? You can run them in stock configuration, like with the cam gears. It'll give you a real smooth idle. I didn't really leave it that long to find out if it revved any higher or anything like that. But the way I did it was, I guess the common rule with the 248 cams is you roll the intake cam forward, or, you know, that way, 2 teeth or 2.5 teeth, but you can't really do 2.5 teeth with a chain, so you do 2 teeth plus you put a extra notch or an extra cam, what is it, dowel pin hole in there, so that you can move the cam forward even that 1/2 tooth, basically. What is it? Jim Wolf Technologies has a pretty good cam gear that's like fully adjustable. It's got the It's got the holes all the way around the deal, but I just copied their the picture of the deal. So I wanted it, you know, plus so many, or I forget how it works, but I did it like that. This one, I actually did 2 holes in this one, and I like it on the second setting. It gives it that choppy lope everybody seems to like. I don't know, that's all there is to really to this. I haven't done a whole lot to this. It's got, yeah, it's just carbureted, it's got cams, shit, it's got a stock manifold, and you know, 38. I don't know what else really to kind of go over on this one. There's not much to it, but I figured I'd answer some questions in the video. Makes it easier than typing up, you know, the same comment 15 times, 20 times over, because everybody wants to know how you do it. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm not sure. This might not stay as it is for a while. I might end up doing like a boosted blow-through system with that 2300 carb, or if I can find an S13 intake and strip it down, you know, remove the idle air control and basically just make it a plain Jane intake that I can slam some injectors in and have a throttle body with some of the basic sensors. I'll probably just end up micro or doing like an MS Pro from EFI Source. But this is all it is for right now. Hope that might resolve some questions in the comments, and figured I'd throw out some new content. It's been a while since I've actually threw a video up on the channel. Let's see if I can't get some stuff on here a little bit more often. But alright, thanks.